Okay, what is up? This is Be Mesmerized, and I am here with a video. Yay! Woo! Okay, so today I wanted to talk about doing daily art challenges. These are things that people do for various reasons. So I've done a couple so far. Right now I have my Inktober drawing on, and I decided to kind of do a comparison. So the first one is my very first Inktober, day 1, October 1st. And then the second part of the video is going to have day 31. So you'll get to see kind of like how my style improved, if at all, and then also how the video quality has improved, because yeah, you can see the angle on this is so wonky, and this was, I think this, no, it was the first time. Yeah, first time I've recorded myself doing traditional, so yeah, it was a bumpy ride. I actually streamed just about every day during Twitch. There were a couple of days where I didn't stream. Well, actually three, because this one right now I didn't stream. So this one I didn't stream, 2 others I didn't stream, but in total I'd say I did 29 streams in October. So yeah, when you see day 31, it's gonna be a completely different like situation, and can't wait for you to see that. But anyway, without further ado, let me get into this advice. Okay, so number 1 is pick something that actually interests you or benefits you. Something that you can sit down for an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours in my case, or even 10 hours also in my case. Basically, you want to do something that you can spend some time on every day for however long your challenge is. So obviously I did Inktober this year, and last year in 2017 I did a portrait challenge. So I don't know if you know Istebrak. She's a YouTuber here. She's been on forever, and she established this challenge where you pick a face as a reference, but you also have to make your own face at the same time. So it's like working from your imagination, but proofreading, I guess, based on the reference that you choose. So you start with a type of face, basically, and then you draw that same face for 14 days straight, and you get someone else to critique it every day. And that's basically the challenge. So for the portrait challenge, the point is to get better with portraits and drawing faces, getting the proportions down, and all of that. And with Inktober, my main thing was getting better at anatomy. So basically my Inktobers were just figure studies every day, and then I just threw some clothes and some witch themes and some hair on it. So yeah, most of the poses are referenced, and that's what I wanted to get out of Inktober. So with those 2 challenges, the main focus was getting better at anatomy. And I guess I'm boring, I don't know, but I like doing studies and looking at a reference and kind of capturing what I see. So that was my thing. I'm able to spend like hours just studying and figuring out how different things work. So that was my motivation as far as having interest in doing those 2 challenges. So when you go into a daily challenge, think of the why. And I feel like a lot of people say this, they're just like, think of the why. Why are you doing this? To keep yourself motivated, or It's just stuff like that. I watch a lot of motivational videos here on YouTube, so yeah, that's a common theme. Think about why you're doing something to keep you motivated. And you can have different motivations. It doesn't have to be anything deep or anything that's gonna skyrocket your career or anything. Like, if you want to draw cute things or cute people, whatever you're into, just something that'll keep you coming back to draw every day. So like in my case, like I said, practice anatomy. I also wanted to practice design, so with Inktober, I did do references for the poses, the body, but all of the clothes, all of the hair, the basic design was something that I came up with myself. So that's another thing I wanted to do with Inktober. And with the portrait challenge and Inktober, I also wanted to grow my stamina. So like I said, Inktober, each of those drawings took about 5 hours each. Against my will. If it was up to me, I would have gotten it done in like an hour, maybe 3 hours, but as much as I tried, they all took 5 hours. So there's that. And then the portrait challenge, because you're doing a full painted face, that takes a lot of time. So I think each face maybe took around 8 hours throughout the day. Like, I took breaks and everything, but I made sure to get it done before I went to sleep. So that's another reason why I did my daily challenges. And yeah, make sure it's something that you want to do. Don't go to someone else's video or read someone else's post and see what they're doing it for and then say, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Or don't just do it to get follows. Not to say that challenges, especially Inktober, like I can't lie, like I did get more people engaging with my Instagram and Twitch because I uploaded and streamed every day, but that can't be your only motivation, especially when you're smaller and you get like maybe 5 to 10 likes and no comments on your pictures. Like, you gotta make sure that you find something that's actually interesting to you and that's personal to you, that can like help you grow or just make you happy in general. So yeah, pick something that actually interests you. Number 2, plan a time where you have it. Make sure you do a challenge where you are most in control of your time. So I know Inktober, it's great and all because everyone else is doing it, but if you have like 5 midterms and a paper due, or you agreed to be like the bridesmaid for someone's wedding and they're having it in October for whatever reason, or maybe you said that you would babysit someone, I don't know, whatever. Make sure that you do the challenge when you can. Don't force yourself to do it because everyone else is doing it. Make a plan, because you don't want to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning stressing and panicking and you haven't even like started the ink yet. Could you like imagine how much stress that is? So make sure you make a plan, basically. So when I did the portrait challenge last year, I actually had vacation from my job, so I had 3 weeks off, and the challenge was for 2 weeks. So that gave me plenty of time to sit down at my house and just paint all day. I wasn't going to be called in for my job to do anything. I wasn't forced to travel anywhere that I didn't want to. So it was a time where I was basically free to do the challenge. And with Inktober, I had to work, but I don't have a part-time job that I had to go to, and I had the power to just come home not have a social life and just get Inktober done. So yeah, like I decided, October is a good time for me to do a daily challenge. So make sure that you plan for these things. Maybe like it means admitting that you can only do 2 weeks. Just choose a time that's best for you. Set your own parameters. Like I said previously, do the challenge for you. So if you think you're gonna get something out of it with only doing it for 2 weeks or 1 week, depending on what challenge that you're doing, then just do that. And don't feel defeated because you couldn't do like a full month or full 2 weeks. Just do it for you. Plan your time, because I think a lot of people, they see Inktober and they're like, oh my god, it's October, it's Halloween, and and then they're just like, alright, let's go, and it's like October 1st, and then like 5 days later, maybe even 10 days later, they're just like, oh, why did I do this? Or any other challenges like OC challenges, they're just like, oh yeah, this is fun, I'm gonna do this right now, or I'm gonna start this tomorrow, and then 2 days in and they're just like, no, impossible. So make sure you think ahead before you do a daily challenge. So that is number 2. Plan a time where you have it. Okay, number 3, do what's in your means. Analyze, be honest with yourself. If you just started drawing like 10 days ago and you look at people like Sakimi-chan or Loish or whoever your hero is, Craig Mullins, I don't know, Kim Jung-gi, okay, be careful, because they put in a ton of time and a lot of practice into their work, whoever you're admiring, because if you think that you can be on that level and put out work at the same level when you just started, then that's not realistic. If you're mediocre, like me, just, take it back. The thing with the challenge is it's there to push you, but it's not necessarily there to break you, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like for me personally, challenges are more to push milestones and for you to exercise the skills that you have. So you'll pick up skills as you go, but you don't want to go into something and not be familiar with what you're doing. So basically, with challenges, stay at your skill level or just above it. For me, with Inktober, I stuck with line art and shadows. I started to add shadows towards the middle of Inktober. So like many people, I was on Instagram scrolling and looking at all these gorgeous pictures of people doing backgrounds and adding color and colored pencil, whatever, because Inktober isn't just ink anymore, but it's something where you just have to make sure that you be honest with yourself and just do something that you can actually achieve, because you don't want to burn yourself out the first couple of days trying to make masterpieces or try to emulate someone and realize that you can't carry it out for a whole month, because 30 days is a long time in Inktober's case. And with the portrait challenge, I actually had to build myself up before I started. So like I said, I had vacation for those days or those weeks. And I knew that was coming up, so I actually did form studies every day. So I'd come home and just draw a bunch of blobs and get my shadows together. And then after that, then I did a couple of portrait studies where I just completely copied, a picture of someone's face. Then I moved on to individual features, so I did paintings of just a pair of eyes, nose, and then I did one of those head forms where it's like the planes of the head. And then after that, I went into the challenge. So I realized that I've never done anything close to pushing out a portrait every day. So I knew that I had to do small things in order to build myself up. Kind of think of it like revving up an engine. Like a challenge is something that's a challenge. It's meant to be challenging for you. So make sure that you practice for it is basically what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that is 3. Do what's in your means. Number 4, treat it like a job. Tell people, let them know. If they're like, oh, do you want to grab food after work? Do you want to go here after school? Do you want to go hang out all day at this place? Tell them no. If you're serious about doing a challenge, tell them no. If it takes you 2 hours and you'll be tired after whatever it is that you have to do, if you have other obligations, just say no. Treat it like a job. Block out time. After you make your plan, block out time and tell people at this time, I'll be working on this challenge. Tell them it's not going to be forever. Like, it'll be 2 weeks, next couple of weeks. Like, I don't plan on going out as much. Just tell people. And if they're understanding, then they're just like, oh, okay, we can schedule it for another time. If it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, like that friend that's getting married, please don't stay at home in your house by yourself drawing when, stuff like once-in-a-lifetime chances are passing you by. But if it's, for me, I work with adults or whatever, so every Friday we'll go out, or at least they'll invite me to go out and have a couple of drinks or whatever, go to a bar or get out and get food. So I got invited, while I was doing Inktober, and I'm just like, you know what, right now I'm not really doing too many social plans, but hit me up in November and yeah, I'll just resume everything from there. And it was just that simple. And they're just like, okay. And we have plans for November now, so it's not really a big deal. Just let people know. Put it on your schedule if you need to. And also be wary of distractions. So if you're at a job, just imagine that you're working somewhere and it's somewhat strict, because I know some places they'll let you do whatever you want, but think of like the average job. So if you're just sitting around on your phone browsing YouTube or browsing Instagram on your Facebook for like hours or an hour, like that would look bad, right? Because anyone who's around you will be like, why aren't you working? So that's also what I mean when I say treat it like a job. Make sure that your distractions are out of the way and stay focused. Don't just waste your time fiddling around when you could be drawing or painting. So that's number 4. Make sure you treat it like a job if you're going to take it seriously, and just let people know. Number 5, have accountability. This was such a huge one for me. If you're like me and what people think kind of matters, I know that's bad, and people are just like, do your own thing, don't worry about what people think. But to a certain extent, if I know someone is watching me, and if I say I'm going to do something, then I am going to do it because I don't want to disappoint myself, and I don't want to look like a failure or a quitter in front of other people. There are some exceptions, but I'm getting better, and with this past Inktober, I was able to have that as my motivation. Now, if it's to the point where it's making you paranoid and it's actually crippling you and making you worried, then maybe accountability isn't the best thing. But for me, like I mentioned earlier, I streamed my Inktobers, so everyone who stopped by, I managed to get a couple of people come back like a few times, so I knew that they were waiting for me to stream again and, checking up on me to see if I'm still going with Inktober. So that made me come back to the computer and upload Twitch and sit down and draw and ink and sit through the 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours to get each drawing done. So also maybe Instagram is just enough for you, just knowing that you'll have that block of Inktober on your feed and being able to show and prove to other people that you can do this. That's one way that can keep you motivated to do a daily challenge. Just announce it, tell whoever you can, and just think about, like, maybe the next time you see that person, the next time someone goes to your page, they'll have that in the back of their mind. So keep that in the back of your mind that people are checking, and yeah, that can be a really good motivator. Moving on to number 6, compare yourself to yourself, no one else. Please do not. Like I said, I was on Instagram every day looking at everyone else's whatever they were doing. And it's so easy to have those thoughts in the back of your mind, and those things, if you let them, they will multiply and just kill your motivation. It'll start off really small. Like, you'll look and you're just like, oh, that's nice. Oh, they use that. Oh, I wish I would have thought about that. And then the next day you're just like, oh wow, that design is so cool. Oh, I wish I would have thought about that. And then you go over to yours and you're just like, oh, that's kind of boring. And then the next time you're just like, oh, wow, I can't believe I didn't realize that this looked like this. Theirs over here, they didn't have that. They didn't make that mistake. I can't believe I made that mistake. And then all of a sudden you're just like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I'm just not good enough. And then after that starts happening, then you just come up with like a bunch of other excuses. You're just like, oh man, this pen looks like it's kind of drying out. Maybe I shouldn't draw anymore. Or like the next time that I'll be able to go buy another pen will be in a couple of days, and by then, I'd have to stop the challenge, so might as well stop now. It's just like ridiculous stuff just starts coming in. So basically, don't compare yourself to other people, compare yourself to you, because when you do that, you set more realistic goals. It's based on what you can do. And when you do that, then when you come to something where you don't hit a milestone, it isn't anything outrageous. So in my case, I found myself checking the likes that each of my posts got, because I decided that I would do a painting for each design that had the top amount of likes. So the top 2 paintings I decided that I wanted to paint. So every day after I'd post something, I would check to see how many likes it got compared to previous Inktobers. So Instead of looking at so and so's over here who gets like 1,000 likes per post, I was looking at my tiny little posts at like 50 and 40, and I'm like, okay, so this one today it only got 35, and this one over here got 49. So I'm like, okay, so this one I might be able to paint. So you kind of see where your mind is kind of preoccupied with the comparison game, because for some reason we just like it. I know I find myself comparing numbers all the time, but if you focus on yourself, then you get the satisfaction of comparing without the disappointment. So even though this post today only got a certain amount of engagement compared to this other one over here, I'm not like, oh my god, I'm so terrible, no one likes me. I'm just like, okay, this one isn't doing good, but this other one I'll probably paint. And it's just like, it's turning a negative into a positive, basically. So make sure that you look back at your own drawings, try to see how much you improved or how much your page is growing. So comparisons like that are healthy, and make sure you look at your own self instead of comparing yourself to other people and bigger people. So yeah, number 6, compare yourself to yourself. And last but not least, as the saying goes, treat yourself. Buy yourself a snack. Have fun. Make sure you have fun. It's not prison. It's not actual work. It's something that you decided to do. So don't punish yourself. Motivate yourself to keep coming back and make it fun. Make it enjoyable. So for me, when I was doing Inktober, I straight up bought a snack at the convenience store after work and ate it like right before my stream, just to have something to get excited about every day. So I would go and get some cookies or get an ice cream or get some chips or something small that my brain would be like, ooh, okay, I will be drawing every day for 5 hours straight, but at least I get a snack. And I think that's part of the reason why I kept going and stayed motivated. With the portrait challenge, that one, I think it was just fine and dandy enough that I was able to just stay home and paint all day without having anything, and just to see the results was great enough for me. It was during the winter time, so I just stayed in, bundled up, turned the heater on. I had snacks, had some tea. It was a great time. So maybe for you that means listening to your favorite music while you work, or maybe you watch YouTube, maybe you stream. Maybe that's just something fun for you. Also, you can also celebrate the last day. So I kind of did that. I streamed and gave away a couple of gift cards because it was just kind of a celebration to be finished. I didn't do it the 31st because that was a Wednesday, but I did it on a Sunday. So it was just something just to, breathe and just say, okay, I'm really close. I'm about to finish this thing. So yeah, just hype it up. Have fun. Also, make sure you stay on top of your health and make sure you get enough sleep. Please do not draw for 30 days straight or 2 weeks straight or even a week straight on 2 hours of sleep a night. That's not realistic. Make sure that you get enough sleep, even if that means like sleeping for 10 hours for like a few days in between. Just make sure you get enough sleep and drink your water. Don't skip all your meals. Take a nap if you need it. Don't run at 100% all the time. Just take it gradually. Don't push yourself because it is for you. There isn't a grand prize at the end of it, unless someone comes up to you and they're just like, okay, well, we're gonna sponsor you if you get this challenge done, which would be amazing. If anybody wants to do that, I am free. But anyway, if it's just a situation where you're doing it for yourself, just remember that it is for you, and the payoff is in the results in your artwork, and that's not enough to compromise your health, I think. If you disagree, then like I said earlier, do it for you, but I would advise just to keep the damage to a minimum. So that is number 7, treat yourself. Okay, and that is it. Okay, so it is time to wrap up this video. I do want to end with a couple of disclaimers. Okay, so for the 14-day portrait challenge, it actually took me like 14 and a half days because I was in a city meeting up with some friends for a vacation. So I took my Surface with me and my small little tablet, and I did drawings for most of the days, but one day we were just out all day and I was tired, so I didn't make it for one day, but I have 15 days, so it's not bad for a 14-day challenge. And you can see that on my Google Plus, and that'll be linked below. And also for Inktober, I drew every day. I promise, I pinky promise, but I didn't post the day, I think it was day 29 or 28th, because I was saving it for the 31st since it was Halloween themed. So on my Instagram, it says that I missed a day, but if you go on my Twitch channel, link in the description, then you can see that one if it's still up, and it'll prove that I did it every day. I just wanted to put those on there. I don't want anyone coming back and be like, you didn't even actually complete it. Look, I did everything like 99.9%, so yeah, there's that. And yeah, just to wrap up, number 1, pick something that interests you. Number 2, do a challenge when you actually have time or control over your time to do it. Number 3, do what you can, do what's in your means. Number 4, treat it like a job. Number 5, have accountability. 6, compare yourself only to yourself. And number 7, treat yourself. Okay, so that is it for my ways to smash daily challenges. And remember to always be mesmerized with wondering eyes.